Today we're in a different location, different beauty. I'm so excited to have Jenai Buchanan with us on this week's episode of Beers and Beauties.
Doesn't matter if you got Coors, Busch, Bud Light, or a local shop's IPA. All beers are welcome at Beers and Beauties, baby. Let's go.
Jenai, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Look at us in this place here. This is amazing once again. And what Jenai is referencing is that we just did a 15-minute episode, and this idiot forgot to hit record. Can we cheers to that so I don't feel like, oh, cheers. So, welcome everybody to Beers and Beauties. We legitimately just did a 20-minute episode, and I didn't hit record. So this is take 2 of the Beers and Beauties episode. And to be honest, it just means more time talking with you. So I'm happy about it. If you have not, before we get into the show, if you could please follow us on Instagram, YouTube, hit us up with the 5-star rating and review. That would be very delightful. Jenai, do you follow us?
I sure do.
Yes. Perfect. So welcome to the Beers and Beauties episode, Jenai Buchanan. I'm so excited to have you here, not only because I get to see you more than pretty much anybody throughout a week, but I'm excited to talk to you about hockey, your past, every aspect of it, but really wanting to get into the coaching side of things and how you made the decision to go from player to coach in such a short period of time, because you were just a player
a couple years ago.
And then that darn COVID got in the way of everything. But how does it feel? We are both, and so for the people who don't know, Jenai and I coach the Pembina Valley Hawks together in the U18 Manitoba Female Hockey League. And we are currently posted up in our dressing room. How does it feel being back coaching the team that you played for?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't say they've done that before, so.
Mm-hmm. And I like that you were a part of this dressing room, because this was a dressing room that got added on at the end of your career?
Yeah, I think my last year.
Your last year.
2016.
So when you walked in and you saw the stalls and you saw everything that you got, how'd you feel?
It's pretty amazing. A lot of teams at that time didn't have their own dressing room. So.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that there's some that still don't.
Yeah.
Right?
We're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, super fortunate to be here. And when you think about your hockey career and looping it back around with now coaching, is there a certain sense of pride you feel when you walk into a room like this after, you were being the first one, you've gone off, you played university hockey, which we will get into, and now that you're back?
Oh, for sure. I think, after being away and coming back, it's like kind of hitting home. It's like the same almost, but different in a different, if that makes sense.
You want to make sure that every aspect of what you guys put into this room is continued on, tradition, legacy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Totally makes sense. And I'm all in.
Yeah. I think the Hawks Fly Together thing is still around since I played.
Really? That was with you too?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not on Instagram back then, but it was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we're going to dive in to a lot of your playing, and obviously your career, quote unquote, started here with the Pembina Valley Hawks. When you made the transition to U of M and you decided to take that route, was there something that kind of was sparked in you that you knew you wanted to play university hockey, or was it always kind of known that you wanted to make that jump?
It was kind of known because I played with a lot of girls who went on and played Div 1 in the States. So I think it was known that I could get to that level, playing the AAA level. And I knew I didn't want to go to the States. I'm more of a homebody, and I wanted to go into agriculture. So
the farmers.
Yeah.
The farmers. I love them. And I'm learning so much about farm life. And I think that there is an element too that when we're talking about, because a lot of today's episode is going to be about essentially what a female hockey player or player of any sport can do from the minors all the way up into where they're playing AAA hockey or the highest level that they can play in high school, regardless of sport, and that transition up into university. I think the whole roadmap is what we're going to get into today, because yours is super fun because it ends up coaching with me. But
highlight of it.
Yeah, highlight of it all, right? But it's so interesting to hear kind of the roadmap of a female athlete, because there's so many unique challenges that we face along the way when it comes to, perspective at a young age of what girls can actually accomplish within sport and where they can go. And in our first episode, you give a really good example of that, reffing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was reffing a game last year as U13, and I come on the ice with my partner, and this little girl goes, well, a couple of them actually went, "Oh my God, a female ref. And they would not stop talking about it the whole game or stop talking to me about it.
And it's so interesting, the fact that we're in 2022, we're sitting in a dressing room of us coaching, and there are still young female athletes. And I know we're very hockey specific. We're literally sitting in hockey stalls right now, but that still don't see it at a young age, to the point where you're going in, you're reffing, and girls look up and go, "Oh my gosh,
that could be
it's
me.
A girl.
Yeah.
It can be me."
Yeah.
And so for people who listen to the podcast that don't know exactly where we are in Morden, Manitoba, which is a rural community. And there are different, challenges that you face when you're in a rural community. And they're happening in the city too, but they're just amplified in the country, right? And one of them is women getting back involved in sports. And I wonder, how do we bridge this gap, Jenai? We're just going to Jenai, solve all the world's problems here real quick. How do we have that conversation, specifically in rural communities, and we'll get to the city, of how do we bridge that gap?
In the rural communities, it starts at a young age in both, but in the rural communities, I think it's just giving them more opportunity. I know there are some opportunities, but it's maybe not that local to those girls. They might have to drive an hour and a half for that camp, and their parents aren't willing when there's two other kids in hockey already.
Right.
So if you could bring a camp to each individual small town in the region, that would be sweet.
You're setting it up for us. Beauties Sports is on the road. Here we go. Because
I know my dad, he's like, "Jenai, you should run a girls' camp in Crystal City this year." I was like, "Yeah, but Dad, I don't really have time." By the time Crystal City gets ice, I'm full blown hockey season. And it's like, true. So then when we did our female hockey day, he's like, "We need to plan something like that."
Yeah, absolutely. And female hockey days, and so we just did one out in Morden, and that was one thing. And sitting here with the coach who's with me, that was one of the most proud moments I've had with these girls.
They embraced it so well. Yeah.
They were absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It was like we drew something on the board. It was done. They were full in it. And you're a little buddy there too, right? Tell everybody about Mia.
Yeah, Mia and I became best friends. We spent 45 minutes together, passing, shooting. I played net, she played net.
Because Mia was a little nervous.
Yeah, she was. And so I spent the time with her, and then I got the girls to sign her a puck, and I met her here in the dressing room a few days ago and gave her a VIP tour of the dressing room.
And that is... And
I actually received a text from her mom saying, she's super excited to play hockey now. So, that just warmed my heart when I got that text in the morning.
It's it's those small details that go such a long way. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's girls that jump on the ice that might be questioning it and don't know exactly. And then when you're connecting and inviting and bringing people in, it's there is no better feeling. There is no better feeling. So we did a female hockey day out here. Tons of girls showed up. It was so much fun. But these girls, the Pembina Valley Hawks girls, they showed up. They did their part. I was so proud. I know you were too. But it's when we talk about the female hockey day. And then I always go, because I've ran a ton of them.
Yeah.
What's next?
Just continuing it, I think.
Right?
More,
like,
yeah, more of them.
We can do female hockey days in every single sport. You know, I see basketball ones everywhere. I see volleyball ones everywhere. Yeah. And it's like, okay, but let's make those days, what's plan B?
Yeah.
You know, because for me, you could bring, we had a great number.
Yeah, like probably 60 girls.
Yeah. And it's like, let's just keep bringing them in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it a day. Make it continuous over and over and over again, so they get to know that piece of it. Because like we were saying, those girls watching you ref, they see it and now they're like, whoa. When you see it over and over and over again, now it becomes real, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes them want to continue and do it more.
Mm-hmm. So let's dial back a little bit more into your career. Let's talk about Jenai, which is everybody's, like, every athlete's like hates that question.
Yeah, hates talking about themselves.
Hates talking about themselves, but we're doing it. We're doing it because we're doing it. And so you played here, Pembina Valley Hawks.
4 years.
4 years. I'm into that. That's a big deal. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do before we get into it?
Crack a cold one.
Crack a cold one. Because I want to be dialed in for this. So you play Pembina Valley Hawks, and you mentioned before that it was kind of known that you're going to go to that next level.
Yeah.
What is your mentality in your senior year here at Pembina Valley?
Probably just get it done. Like, I was an intense competitive player, and I just wanted to win and do all the little things. I was a big little things person.
Where did you learn that? Where did you learn to win?
The farm was like a big thing. I mean, not necessarily win, but like the grind. Like, you have to do the job right the first time, or else you're doing it again. I think it was just my parents that installed that kind of hard work. And
I love that. Like, I could talk about the grind and the will to win and that conversation over and over and over again. And so you think it's farm life living that gave it to you, hey?
Yeah, like before you go to hockey, before you go to school, you got to feed the chickens.
Chickens come first, baby.
Cows got to be fed.
That's so true. Yeah. So if you had an early, like, walk us through a day.
Well, if it was a school day, you wake up, I don't know, hour before the bus came, and got up, fed the chickens, gave them their water, collected the eggs, gave them their food, went to school. And then if you had hockey that night, usually it was in Crystal City or Pat Mountain, as that's where I'm from. And my dad was my coach, so he'd take us there, and my brothers would be on the ice before me or after me. So I'm spending my whole evening in the rink usually.
Yeah.
And then my dad is the head person of the rink back home too. So whenever he had a meeting, we'd go kick around and shoot pucks and free ice time.
I'm all about that. Free ice time. That's right. So to be honest, when I hear that kind of mentality, like chickens got to be fed, like cows got to eat, I'm like, there would be a lot of dead chickens in the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
But it is a reality. It is the
yeah.
way of life, and I love that conversation of non-negotiable.
Yeah, like I remember.
It is a non-negotiable.
I'd have a AAA game, and I didn't have my license yet, so my parents had to drive me, but frick, I was going to be late because the cows got out or something like that, and there was a snowstorm, and I was going to be late because chores took longer. And that just had to be, I got mad one time, and I got told real quick. But
you got mad and you got told real quick what comes first in the pecking order, hey?
Yes, exactly.
So it's because I believe wholeheartedly, and we've had this conversation a lot on the Beauties Sports Desk, which you will come to. We won't always be on location, but we will have you at the desk. I believe that you learn how to compete when you're 10 and under.
Yep, that's true.
I learned that, like, I whole in my soul believe that the work ethic and what you do and all of this is 10 and under. And you have a very unique experience of being able to, like, it doesn't matter. It gets done by living on the farm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a lot of girls on our team actually have that same experience as me.
Couldn't agree. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. It's been absolutely mind-blowing to me. But it's, so say if you're not from rural where you have cows at your house and, like, do you still believe it's 10 and under even if you don't live on a farm?
I think so. I think there's, like, little things that you can do as a parent, but also as, like, that child.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think there's an interesting level of learning how to fail when you're young.
very true. Yeah.
I went on a rant, I think it was 2 episodes ago, about participation ribbons and how I don't believe in them.
Neither do I,
But even if we're going back, because you and I talked about the Leah Hextall episode with Cowie and Leah, which, Leah, thank you very much for coming to the Beauty Sports Desk, and I cannot wait to meet you, is when she talks about what she went through last year and how she was flipping it.
Yeah.
And turning it into a positive of, I don't want anybody to look at me as a rookie anymore.
Yeah.
No, I am here. I've got my 3 ends, that was incredible, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going for it and I'm going all in. Wasn't intimidated by the horrible press that she received, which was not deserved, right?
Just owning it.
And just owned it.
Yeah.
And I think that Leah's message needs to be heard by girls 10 and under. I think girls need to see, and I know that they're witnessing it as we speak, of this woman that is pursuing a career and understanding that it is okay to fail, but it will not stop her.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter what gets in her way, she will get the job done. And I wholeheartedly believe that this will be the best season for Leah Hextall.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to listen to her.
Yeah, she's unreal.
Yeah.
So good. So good. But so you've got this, like, drive and compete from the farm, which I'm feeling right now. I'll tell you that much. Then you start to get to the point where it's okay, it's time to make a decision. What were those factors that went into it? And speak to your parents too. Like, what was the process like for you and your family? Because it is a full deal, right?
Yeah. I knew that I wanted to put school first, like what I wanted to do. That had to be at the school I was going to. So I was contacted by a few schools. And if they didn't have what I wanted, I was just like, sorry, like, not interested. Just because my parents told me school has to come first. At the end, you're going to have a job. So figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up going to U of M mostly because it had an agriculture program, diploma program that I first started in. And from there, I don't know, U of M contacted me and it kind of just fell into place.
Yeah. And so I even want to dial into that conversation a little bit more with your parents, because I believe, because okay, so I'm going to dial back here just a little bit, because that what you just said, your parents said, you know what, you got to still be real. You're going to need a job at the end of the day. Do you think boys hear that?
No offense, but because they have more opportunities to get paid playing hockey or playing sports.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was trying to get at, because I wholeheartedly believe that if I was playing hockey right now, I would have zero focus other than becoming a part of the PHF or the PWHPA.
Yeah.
And I still hear people telling young girls today, you know what? You're still going to need a job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When is that conversation going to switch, Jenai?
I think, it's growing a lot these last couple of years. So I think once more people realize and see it on TV more, I think, and actually learn about it. Because to be honest, I don't know much about that yet. Because I don't know, I just haven't looked into it as much because I'm past that. But
Because you're too into the Pembina Valley Hawks, that's why.
And farming. And farming, yeah.
Farming. And the cows and the chickens.
But I think once more people are educated on it, I think the conversation will switch.
So visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know in my soul that if it was available for me to play pro hockey, there would never be another question.
You wouldn't be here today.
I wouldn't be here. Even I am very happy to be here today, but I would definitely be looking at that. And I think that that's one of the biggest shifts that we're hoping to bring at Beauty Sports is that it is time to start switching that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It is time. And in even seeing your face, like, well, you were literally playing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that never would have been a conversation for you.
No.
And the PHF has been in existence for 8 years, I think. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
We have to start changing the conversation.
Yeah.
And it starts at the grassroots level.
Yeah, the young age.
Exactly. Because if you grow up knowing about Montreal just expanded to the Montreal Force, right? You get the Montreal Force, the Toronto Six. Now you've got 2 Canadian franchises within the PHF. And it's like, now you can start resonating and saying, okay, well, I want my daughter to be a part of the Montreal Force.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the hockey that is being played is incredible.
Yeah. And for those little girls, instead of just watching NHL on TV, they're able to watch females on TV instead of just the World Juniors or the World Tournaments. Even
if you just take your isolated incident of when you went and you were roughing with that one girl being like, not with that group of girls being like, we got a girl ref. Then you amplify that to girls being on TV and a bunch of girls being like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
For me,
it's mind-blowing for them.
Right?
Yeah.
And everyone always is going to, has always said, you know, is it going to be the chicken or the egg? Is it going to be the product just naturally coming up, or is it going to be visibility? And for me, and from what I've seen in being involved with female athletics for so long, it is the visibility
100%.
that is going to be the first thing that's going to push it up, because you see it in NWSL soccer right now, National Women's Soccer League. They're getting record-breaking fans.
Yeah.
In Europe, I think within the last 2 weeks, it was 91,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Like, the quality is there. The visibility and the knowledge isn't.
Yeah.
And that is where I believe the change is really going to happen, is within that piece of it. And even thinking about yourself right now, if you would have known in your first year about the PHF,
I maybe would have took a different like take on it, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, like it totally changed your life trajectory.
Because we sit here and we coach together, and I'm older than you, so I never, I could have gone overseas, but the PHF was never an option for me. And I'm like, I just want to give all I can give to these girls so that they know about the amazing experience that comes with it.
Yeah.
But with the lack of education and understanding of what's actually out there, how can we?
Yeah, like even some of our girls on our team don't even know that exists, or they don't know much about it.
They will. Tuesday at practice. Right? So
But they've never been told about it or talked to about it, or they don't see it anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's one of the key things when we're talking about, especially not rural, but across all female sports, is this integration of support and actually getting the message out there and the word out there, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, your life could have looked completely different if you would have pursued.
I wouldn't be back here in Morden and living on the farm and back in my hometown, but
it's crazy. It's honestly crazy.
Yeah.
So that conversation is so important. So important. So we need to have more female hockey days. And when I say hockey, I mean sports. We just need to have more days where more girls and more parents understand what is actually out there for their daughter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. dialing back into Jenai. You thought you were going to get out of it, but you're not.
Shucks.
So you have this compete and this competitive edge that you want to play university hockey. So you're signed U of M, University of Manitoba Bisons. I don't know why I put a little accent on Bisons, but I did. What's your rookie year like?
I was pretty intimidated. I knew one girl coming in, Megan Naduzak. We played hockey together here at the Hawks, and we played hockey together for 10 years by the end of our university career. So me and her would be texting each other every day, constantly like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, or oh my gosh, like, where do we go? Or just like not knowing, just that unawareness and unknowingness of, and you're walking into a room of 20 other girls that have played at this level before and are maybe 5 years older than you. So I was pretty intimidated, but they made me feel welcome. And then I was lucky. I played quite a few games my rookie year, so that made it a lot easier. But I know it was like one of my best friends. She had a tough rookie year, but sometimes it's hard, the adversity you go through in your first rookie year with schooling and hockey and moving away from home and moving away from your family. Like, it can be tough.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. And that is where I think we need to get rid of this feeling of like everything's always going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah, there's going to be challenges and struggles that come your way.
Yeah. What do you think was your biggest challenge when you moved away?
I don't know. Because I was a pretty independent child at home sometimes with the way farming and rural life is. But I'm not sure. Come back to me on that one.
Okay, we'll loop back in, and I'm gonna throw it in randomly.
Oh god. Should have just came up with something.
Yeah, just come up with the generic answer. Moving away.
Yeah.
So you're there. And I think one of the things that's really cool for us to speak specifically to the athletes that listen to this show about is the travel.
Mm-hmm.
How fun is it?
Oh, I love being on the road.
The best part about being a university athlete or that next level athlete is being on the road, is it not?
Oh, yeah. Like continental breakfast 2 days in a row. That's what I looked forward to. It's like, oh my gosh, you're staying at the Best Western. They have such good continental breakfast.
Out of all things, girl, we got continental breakfast 2 days. And you're right.
Yeah, so good.
100% right.
But just the like bonding and connections and experiences you go through with your teammates.
And there was nothing, and I will say this like very genuine, there's nothing more kind of like swaggy than walking through an airport with your team.
Yeah, and all your gear on.
And all your gear on. You just feel
like the Jets, like, you know.
like you made it.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that. And the continental breakfast.
Yeah.
What was your favorite place to play?
Play or visit?
Pardon me?
Play or visit? Because visit was Vancouver, obviously, because just of the scenery. But favorite rink?
Rink. Because everybody would always pick Vancouver.
Yeah. I liked Alberta, actually, just between us. But, yeah, I don't know. That's probably...
Yeah.
I mean, I played in the SAS bar, the old one, for, I think, 1 or 2 years, and that was pretty good. But
that was my favorite.
Yeah. I remember in Alberta that, like, they have a lot of fans a lot of the times, especially in playoffs, and... Well, they swept us, so all the guys threw out brooms on the ice. And
Shut up.
Yeah. It was, and they were...
U of A or U of S?
U of A.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. But I think U of S one time had brooms, too, in the crowd, but we won, so.
There you go. And I love it. I love university athletics, and if you go to college athletics, like... There is nothing better than going to the Butterdome. I agree with you. The Butterdome was amazing to play in because they just have such, it's like, okay, how many banners do you need? Oh my God.
You got enough.
Come on, pandas, you got enough. But it's all like, it's the rivalry. And then when you're a rookie going into that rivalry and somebody going past you and be like, no, we want to win.
Yeah.
It's like there's no better feeling than being a part of something like that.
And the older girls just talking about past times they've been there and talking. Can I swear? Shit.
Oh yeah. Can I swear? Shit. Yes, you can swear. Beers with Beauties, baby. So it's there is nothing like being able to be on the road, be, a part of a team. And I think that that's one of the, they see it so much with male athletics. Like they're on the road, they're on the plane, they're doing, same thing's happening.
Yeah.
We all get around the same way.
Yeah.
Girls, if they experience that, that becomes an addictive feeling.
Oh, for
you
sure.
want that all the time. Even when I got into my professional career, when I was hired to, go to Calgary to run a skating clinic, and you're still like getting on the plane, you're going to run a clinic, like there's still this feeling of like, I'm doing my part in pushing female athletics to that next level.
Yeah, exactly. And you still have that swag walking through the airport.
Yes, that swag airport walk. That's right. Oh my God. But you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, 100%.
There's nothing better than it. And so what was your, do you have a wild story on the road?
Probably none to be said.
None PG rated.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of story.
Yeah, we got swept in Alberta. I have family there, so we took us to a club and well, just the rest is history. But Lethbridge was on the road. Our bus died. Bus driver wasn't very good, but bus died, and then we got taxis to the rink, and then one of the cabs on the way up the big hill through the valley also died. So it was just a shit show. But
So if you've never been to Lethbridge, Alberta, there's a massive valley in between the hotel and the rink. So you have to go way down and then way up. So your bus died?
Yeah, like it didn't start it was at the hotel that it died, so at least it wasn't.
Hotel.
At least it wasn't on the hill. But
I'm picturing this bus going backwards down the valley.
I mean, it still has brakes. But
yeah, that's true. Yes, that's true. And then you all take taxis there.
Yeah, we arrived in style there that game. But
how many taxis?
I think it was 5 or 6.
5 or 6 taxis?
4 or 5 girls in each.
All the gear, or did you get to leave the gear?
Yeah, gear was at the rink.
Oh my God, that would have been so funny.
John was pissed.
Oh, for sure. How could you not be?
Yeah.
The Iceplex didn't have our ice for our warm-up yesterday, and I was like, we got to get moving. How could you, we got routines here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hockey people are so routine-oriented. Superstitious.
And superstitious, yeah.
What would you say your superstitious rating is?
Well, definitely when I played quite high. Even as a coach, especially, this last little bit. And the year that we kind of went on and won a few things, I wore the same shirt, wore the same pants, went on the same walk route, had my hair the same way, ate the same food, arrived at the same time, so quite superstitious. But
and when she says won a couple things, she means the USPORT championship, the highest of highest championships that you could win. Walk us through, because I'm interested to hear this. Walk us through the national championship for USPORT's women's hockey. The preparation leading up to it, once you landed, it was in Windsor, correct?
Western. London, Ontario.
Ontario. Walk us through, because that is an incredible experience.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That is an experience where you are at the peak of the peak in all Canadian athletics. What honestly, I want to sit back and listen to the whole, walk us through the preparation leading up to the entrance, everything.
I don't think much for preparation changed. We knew we were going, and we knew we just had to continue to do what we were doing. So we kind of stuck to our ways, and then getting there, I think everyone was like, holy shit, we're here. This is pretty cool. And And when we got there, the hotel was sweet. The food was delicious.
Oh.
And it was just business. Like, you wake up, pre-scout or video, whatever one. And then some days we had a couple practices and we were ranked number 1. So we got the best practice time.
Let's go.
And I don't know. I think you're in a new spot too. So you do a little bit of traveling around and sightseeing. But most of it's all business, school and hockey. And you just grind it out.
I love that word that you just use is business-like.
Yeah.
You were there to do a job.
Yeah.
And you felt that all the way through. And so did you show up like, I know that there's a different feeling when you go to a national championship, but did you feel that way every time you went to the rink?
I don't know. That was a while ago. But I think so. Yeah. Had a bit of like swag. You know, we were at the top of Can West for quite some time.
Totally.
So, you know, just, yeah.
I think that they're like we talk a lot to the girls about like showing up to work. Like you're showing up to work. Yeah. And I think that mentality needs to be portrayed a lot when you want to perform at a high level.
Yeah. Like my game day routines were always the same. I do my school obviously, and then if we were home or away, I'd do school in the morning, and then I'd eat lunch and have a pregame nap because that's a necessity.
You have to do it. You have to do it.
45 minutes only though, and then wake up and make my pregame meal if we were at home or eat on the road, and then everything was the same. Got ready. Had to look good, feel good, play good. So
that's right. People think that that's just a saying. It is not.
No.
It is not a saying.
No.
It is an honest way of life.
Yeah.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah.
Any what was your weirdest ritual before a game?
I don't think I was that weird, but I don't know. In university, nothing crazy. I'd visualize in my head, but that's about it. But no one really knows that.
Nobody would know that.
Yeah.
You'd just be looking around.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine was I'd take an ice cold shower.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Ice cold shower before every single game.
Yeah, I know.
And for some reason, it was this weird way of waking my body up.
That's fair.
Like, wake up.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what's going on in your day, wake up because it's time to go, right?
Mm-hmm. I guess I would only take my stick on Friday games, even if it was destroyed for the Saturday game. It's still staying the same. I don't know.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
And I'd probably got my skate sharpened the least on the team.
Just country living, hey? Get them done if you can. Don't worry about it. If not.
Oh, dear, yeah.
That's wild. That is there anything that when you look back you miss?
Like the team, the dressing room. Yeah, just like the culture of being around everyone 24/7. But
it's so interesting to talk to athletes because when we're so in the moment,
you don't realize it, how fortunate you are.
You don't realize how amazing it is.
Yeah.
You don't realize everybody's so wrapped up in points and minutes and PK and power play and all these things.
Yeah.
And then you take a step back and you don't have it anymore. And the one thing everybody always says is, I miss the room.
Yeah. I guess I do also miss the adrenaline feeling, the adrenaline rush during a game, but don't get quite the same one coaching.
I was going to say, you're speaking my language. There is nothing better than a full-on competition against another team.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling than competing and putting everything on the line. And then win or lose doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you put everything on the line. It's so funny you say that because it is always the two.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when, I don't know if you've heard the story of how Beauties kind of got its name and how it got created, but there's a group of girls that I was coaching and I said, if you could be team MVP, leading scorer, or team beauty, what do you pick? What would you pick?
Well, obviously Team Beauty.
Like, how could you pick anything else? And who keeps the dressing room fun?
Yeah.
Team Beauty.
Yeah, that's
It's the word that connects us all. It's the word that actually embraces what being a part of a team is supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say is your, like, off the top of your head, who would be Team Beauty?
When I played?
Yeah.
Amanda Schubert.
Shooby-doo-bop, baby. Amanda Schubert, Team Beauty. I totally agree with that.
She was a character.
Yeah, mine was
Sirhan.
Or Sirhan, okay. Right on. See, everybody has that person.
Yeah.
Everybody has those people that are just team beauties.
Yeah.
And to be recognized as one is an honor more than leading scorer.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Top points. And it's encompassing full circle. So when we talk about women staying in sports, it's bringing that feeling full circle, which I think has kind of been the line in the sand a little bit, is our team beauties go off and they're like, well, there's nothing for me in sports and blah, blah, blah. Instead of coming back.
And giving back and showing other girls that there's opportunities out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And staying with it and showing them what true team culture is like. Yeah. And, you know, win or lose doesn't matter, but the culture within the room does.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah. A lot of people, it starts in the dressing room.
It starts in the dressing room, regardless of sport. Mm-hmm. And I keep going back to that because we talk a lot about hockey. We're right in the beginning of hockey season. The PHF is in their training camps. The PWHPA just had a showcase. Unbelievable. But it's all sports across the board. Doesn't matter if it's hockey, whatever. Team beauties are everywhere.
Oh, 100%.
And they are like the heartbeat of what sports and athletics is supposed to be about. That's so funny that you because it's true. They're just like the crazy people in the room, just keeping everything the loud ones. So now let's transition into you. Obviously, your experience ending your athletic career was a little bit COVID infected.
Yep.
What made you want to stay in sports? What made you and that draw to come back and coach?
I think just playing hockey my whole entire life. And also, like, a big thing was I didn't know when my last hockey game was going to be. I actually didn't get to play the last hockey game of the regular season because I had a concussion. So I didn't know when my last hockey game in USPORT was going to be. So I was like, I can't end on that. Like, I need to stay in hockey, and plus I'd be bored if I wasn't in hockey. But yeah, I think just because I've been in it since I was like 2 years old, that made me want to come back and give back. And I think honestly now, like when I was playing, there wasn't female coaches, but well, not many, not that I had. And then now that I'm on the bench, it's like I want to show the girls that there's a place for them. They can continue on. Even like some of our girls here, they can come back and coach.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think for people to see the 360 effect of it, where people can see Jenai Buchanan coming through Pembina Valley, going off, experiencing all this stuff, and now coming back. Mm-hmm. And not only that, you also ref, right? Like you coach, you ref, you stay in it. Like if a position was presented to you further, would coaching be something that you would continue on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it enough that I'd continue. I tell people, they ask me how it's going. I was like, I coach like I play. Loud
in it.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
as it should be. And hockey is, and we can speak so intimate about it because it's what we grew up, and it's a loud, intense sport, but it's all coming from a place of love.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like you're going full tilty and you're doing all these things, and then it's like, but I love you.
Yeah.
I love you so much. Like it's a crazy sport for that, right?
Like, I remember when I was young, my dad would rip me because he was my coach. And it's like, I obviously cried because I was young, but it was like, oh my gosh. Like, looking back, it's like, yes, it's just because he wanted me to get better and push myself. But in the moment, you're like, I hate you. And I think that's still the same for some people. Like, even at a higher level, it's like, I hate you. But, like, in the end, it's for the betterment of yourself.
For sure. And we could dial into a whole other topic here of, like, where girls get that security and that feeling of being okay, that it is okay to be criticized and know that it's not because you're bad.
Yeah.
It is because we are working together as a unit to make you better.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important conversation that people need to have because a lot of girls take it personal.
Yeah. And not even just in sports, like in your work life too.
Great point. Great point. And so when you're thinking about the way that you were coached growing up through Pembina Valley, through U of M, all these different things, what are a couple things that you feel you're bringing into your coaching style, as well as what do you think you're taking out as a coaching style? We're getting deep. One more time, I'm going to just crack this beer here real quick.
I think one of my biggest, like, attributes when I was playing was, like, my positive attitude, no shit's given. Like, if I make a mistake, like, move on, get over it. So bring that into coaching, just telling the girls, like, I may, like, correct them or something, but it's like, don't worry about it. Just forget about that.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then trying to stay positive all the time. I mean, obviously there's some times where when you're on the bench coaching that you can get a little bit negative, but one thing I would take out, maybe like sometimes I can be too intense.
Yeah.
Too intense and like too competitive. Where you have to take a step back. No, that's fair.
I didn't mean to go as in like I agree. I meant to go as in like, oh shit, we do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's so intense.
You're just like, okay, Jenai, you gotta step back, let them be. They're only in high school.
I'm the same way. And it's interesting because I've had that kind of internal dialogue with myself in, am I too intense? Am I? And I'm like, but all intense does is showing people that you care.
Yeah. Like, am I yelling too much? No, like I shouldn't be. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But maybe for you, maybe for the girls it is too much. But
has it been interesting for you to learn more about the coaching side of things and how it's a collective but also individual at the same time?
Yeah, for sure. Also, like one thing I learned last year and this year too, but big thing I took away from last year is you yourself can influence the whole bench as a coach, like with your body language or your tone or what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing I probably have to work on.
But it's something that a lot of coaches that they put a lot of time and perspective in is that when you actually learn that you're coaching one philosophy, but you actually have to learn how to coach it 17 different ways.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, holy man, coaching goes to a whole other level.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing I would really like everyone to take away from this episode is, we're talking about, and like we said in the beginning, the progression of sport from youth through, high performance university now to coaching. And every single part of it is learning.
Mm-hmm.
Every single part of it is learning a new perspective, all in the same sport.
Yeah.
Your daughters can be in sport for as long as they want, as long as they're willing to learn about it.
Yeah.
Constantly. And like you just said, your actions dictate 17 high school girls now.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's pretty crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah. that like you can have that big of an effect. It's like, I'm just Jenai on the bench.
Just Jenai talking D zone.
Yeah. But
it's fascinating, and it's something that I encourage everybody to do in their lifetime, is to coach and to be an engaged coach and to really push the narrative of understanding what's out there, what's available for you as an athlete. But when you get the opportunity to be coached by somebody who's done what you've done, encourage that conversation.
yeah.
Because could you imagine with the female hockey day if we had those girls sit down and talk to you, and then they're like, well, what have you been able to do with your career?
Mm-hmm. They'd be like, oh my gosh, wow. Like,
It's like, I've been able to travel around for 5 years.
Yeah.
I met more people.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
Yeah.
Met more people than I know what to, handle. Been able to be in all these opportunities, learn all these different skills. And at the end of it, afford me the opportunity to coach a team like this and ref.
Yeah.
Like, what? Every girl should be in sports.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's just
Doesn't matter what sport, just anyone.
Just do sports. Well, I think that that's a perfect place to end off. Do sports.
Do sports.
Do sports. Well, Jenai, I just want to take this second to say thank you to you and let you know how much I appreciate you. It's been a wild couple of years for me, and coaching with you has been nothing less than amazing. Your dedication, your drive, your commitment, you're allowing me to text you at 11:30 p.m. with different video and responding. I'm happy you got into coaching, and I appreciate everything about you, and thank you for taking this time today.
Thank you. And honestly, every time we step on the ice, Addie, I learn something from you, hockey related. So I'm learning lots from you, and I'm so glad that we're coaching together.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for tuning in today. If you could please jump on and give us a 5-star review, rate and review, that would be greatly appreciated. And follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much. Cowie, I'm looking for final words next time, baby. Alrighty, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.